ministry site profile, which we also call the MSP, it's important to keep in mind who your audiences are.
While it's easy to believe that the MSP is compiled solely for pastoral candidates, there are actually two other audiences who will use the MSP to better understand your congregation or parish. The first audience is the congregation itself. The ministry site profile should be something that the congregation members can read and clearly recognize themselves, saying, "Yes, that's us." The MSP is a reflection tool to help the call committee and the wider congregation look honestly at itself, asking, who are we now, and for what do we exist? What is our mission? What are our strengths and weaknesses in carrying out that mission? What direction is God leading us toward? And what kind of leader do we need to help lead us forward to the future to which God is calling us? Is that full-time or part-time pastor? Perhaps it's a lay leader. Taking the time to name aloud what may have often been assumed or unspoken will give the congregation a clearer sense of the work that the congregation has to do alongside the pastor or deacon who will one day join you.
The second audience for the MSP is the bishop and the Synod staff members who are accompanying you during this time of pastoral transition. Synod staff members are able to learn a lot about your congregation during their time with you in worship and call committee or council meetings, but they only get to see the surface during those times. So the MSP helps the Synod staff to better understand your sense of call and purpose and the hope and dreams God has placed on your hearts for the future mission of the church. The Synod staff will take all this into prayerful consideration as they review pastoral candidates and invite them to consider entering into discernment with your congregation or parish.
The third and final audience for your MSP are the pastoral candidates. It serves as the first impression of the congregation and gives a window into the inner workings of the church. While it's possible to learn quite a bit about your congregation from your website or a printed history of the congregation, or from the initial overview shared with them by the Synod staff, pastors and deacons are particularly interested to hear how you describe yourself as a congregation. This is what makes the MSP unique. Pastors and deacons will be interested to see what is and what is not mentioned. Do you name areas of strength and growing edges? What specific gifts do you know that you need in the next pastor to help you address the challenges the congregation faces in this very next season of your life together? And how will you partner with the pastor to get there? Are you able to articulate why you care about the things you care about and how God is active in and through the congregation? And finally, is the pastor going to find what you describe in your profile when they show up in the congregation? It is important for pastors that MSPs are truthful so that the interviews start out from a place of mutual understanding and you can engage in mutual discernment honestly, trusting in God's guidance.
One profile, three audiences: the congregation, the Synod staff, and finally, pastoral candidates. By keeping all three in mind as you complete your ministry site profile, you will be able to engage in the discernment process with purpose, direction, and missional grounding.